Baseball Development Podcast. Today's episode is a little bit different. We're going to dive in with two high school guys that we train currently. I'm Hunter Wood. I'm here with the founder of K-Zone Baseball Development, Jimmy Keating.
I'm excited for this one. I know the guys are probably a little bit nervous. Got our first in-person guest here with Hudson Garten. Before we get started, we know that parents out there are just trying to do the best that they can to help their sons chase this dream. If you want us to directly help you on this wild ride, we want you to step into the dugout and join our players and families. Even if you're on the other side of the country, we can help. Head over to kzonebaseballdevelopment.com/dugout, and the code WORK will knock off that first month for you. So if you don't like it after that, tell us to kick rocks and go on about your journey by yourself. But we're going to hear from a couple guys that we are right in the trenches with. We are talking recruiting. We've got phone calls. I think Tristan has a phone call after this, had one last night. Hudson kind of doing the same thing. I'm excited to see where we go with this one today.
So our normal format, of course, is we have a college coach. They come in, they bring insight, and we think that's helpful for lots. But today we're going to bring on two of our guys that are in our Prospect Prep series right now, and we're going to have them talk about their journey from the player side. So we are joined by Tristan Wicker. He's a second-team All-Stater, 2027 out of Breckenridge County High School, and Hudson Garten. He's a 2027 outfielder from Silver Creek High School just across the river in Indiana, and he didn't tell us this. He jumped on the mound this past week and was flinging 87. So at K-Zone, our goal has always been simple: help players pursue the baseball dream with clarity, purpose, and without wasting years. So Prospect Prep was built to provide serious players with real development, real exposure, and real feedback. Tristan, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
We are blessed here, brother. Hudson, how are we doing?
I'm great.
Wonderful. Hudson has an extremely deep voice, even maybe more deep than Jimmy's here. So
yeah, it's kind of making me uncomfortable. I mean, I think for our people listening on the audio version only, I might have to click twice before I talk or something so you can tell which one of us it is.
So let's launch on this first question. All right, guys. So both of you have spent significant time inside Prospect Prep thus far as we're recording. So when you first joined, what did you expect and what has surprised you the most? We'll start with Tristan.
I would say I definitely expected a great culture to be in to work in. Being surrounded by guys that have the same dreams and goals that you expect really pushes you to be better each and every day. And you and Jimmy also right there pushing everybody just like they are. So it is truly what I expected. And then you're, like I said, being around here, Kentucky, Breckenridge County, it's easy to think you're good enough and not work as hard because you look around and you're the only guy in the weight room or you're the only guy on the field throwing and you're throwing to the net because nobody will come toss with you. So it's easy to get satisfied with how good you are. And being surrounded by guys that want the same goal just makes it where I feel pushed every day I show up. And I would say I'm most surprised by normally you get a bunch of athletes together. Everybody's hoping for one another to fail. And it's not like that at all at Prospect Prep. The guy next to me wants me to be the best possible player and person I can be. And it's the same way back to him. I don't feel like there's anybody there hoping you fail or can't get that last rep up. They're the same right there, wanting you to do the best you possibly can.
Yeah, amen. Hudson, what was something that you did not expect? What was something that you expected? Overall concept and thoughts so far?
I did not really expect the amount of culture and investment that you guys put into not just me, but everybody else in Prospect Prep. And, you guys really invest deeply, not into just myself, but every single person that comes through. And the culture there, just like Tristan said, you got guys around you that are rooting for you to win, and they're not there to watch you fail or anything like that. They just want to be they just want you to win as much as you want yourself to win.
Yeah.
Man, I love hearing that. So culture is just one of those things where you can try to set it in stone, and anybody that's ever coached anything or organized a group of teenagers will tell you whatever the culture is going to be is determined by the guys. And you can set some precedents and some expectations and do those things. And, day one, we're talking about, hey, if you cuss at any point, your whole group hits the turf and is doing 20 burpees. And it is actually hot in the place that we train. They're not allowed to say that, by the way. I'll say it, it's hot in there. And if you're in the middle of a workout and you hit the ground for 20 burpees, that guy next to you is probably going to get a look. So I think it's a testament to the group of guys that we actually brought in for 2026 that, like Tristan's talking about, they're really pulling for each other. And, man, we've got some guys that have reason to have ego and have reason to be selfish. Another arm that we've got in the group with Tristan, Noah Sokolsky, you guys are polar opposites of each other as far as a player. And I was a little bit worried that there would kind of be maybe this dynamic of who's the dog on the pitching side of Prospect Prep, because you're probably the two best uncommitted 27s in the state of Kentucky. And you guys have become pretty close, and seeing each other, coaching each other even this past week in live at-bats and pulling for one another is so cool. Because we talk about dream school effort quite a bit, and that was the theme of this past week 4 of Prospect Prep. And Tristan, man, you're chasing the dream coming from a small school, and me and you click on so many different ways. But chasing that dream from the small school where you are actually out there flinging plyos at a chain link fence and maybe you haven't seen another person in 3 hours, it can get really easy to be like, well, I'm good enough. These things are comfortable. And then we bring you into an environment and, you know, on social media, we tell you how great you are all the time and all those things. But in person, you know, I'm not going to say any on the air here, but I've got a few different ways to motivate Tristan that I don't think he was maybe ready for, that aren't, man, you're so good at baseball. Because, you know, we talk about dream school effort, man. It's probably going to start off in a school you've never heard of, that you didn't envision going to, and it's going to get tough. And you have to know that you can do it for yourself, by yourself. And then we try to surround a bunch of guys that have that same desire and that effort together and say, hey, do better than that guy. And it's been so cool to see. This summer has been so fulfilling so far, and I'm super excited to see how the rest of this fall plays out with commitments and where you guys are going. And we know enough about this game now to know that these paths are probably going to overlap here in 3 or 4 years, one way or another.
The culture aspect, to hear you guys talk about that, is actually really cool. And I think we were super intentional this year about that. And Tristan said it right when he responded. Most high school settings, I'm speaking in a generalization here, so not every high school is like this. Most high school settings, I was there, Jimmy was there, you guys are there. It's almost not cool to work hard. You're almost made fun of if you work hard. You're talked down to, you're poked at. And then the guys that we have in Prospect Prep, for the majority of them, they are that guy. And there is no one that is even close to them on their team in many aspects. So there is no one biting at your heels. There is no one pushing you. And then when you really start getting after it, it's a defense mechanism. Kids, they make jokes, they poke fun, they do all those things because you're out working them. We actually had a pretty heart-to-heart talk in week 4 about dream school effort, and Jimmy's already referenced it a few times. And I was actually really pumped to see an immediate change. Guys, trying their best to get their next breath of air, really getting after it. You see dogs chasing dogs, and it's the cool thing to see in high school. When you guys get to college, we're trying to prepare you guys for that, of course. That's how it will be. You will be playing with the 8th Region Player of the Year and the Indiana State Player of the Year. Those are going to be your teammates at the next level, and they're going to work just as hard as you. So it's really cool to hear you guys talk about that. Something super unique for both of you guys, and we'll get this question to Tristan here. You guys both drive for over an hour to get to the physical location of Prospect Prep for this summer, and that's a commitment right there alone. But Tristan, your situation is even maybe more unique. Your family is currently building a house over 2 hours away from the facility. So talk to us about your setup this summer and why you and your family believed it was important to get to Prospect Prep this summer.
Well, once you mix in summer ball, I'm usually seeing my family maybe 2 days a week. But I come up on Sunday nights after I get home from summer ball tournament, repack my bag, say bye to the family, and go to my aunt's apartment, which is about 5 minutes from the facility we work at. And I stay there till Wednesday, and it's pretty much just living my summer in the suitcase. Never not coming home back and forth during the week. And normally I'm coming home on Wednesday to pack up again to leave to play summer ball again. So it's definitely traveling a lot. But Prospect prep was a pretty important opportunity to me. I discussed it with the family, and I started working with Jimi in like October of 2025. And like stuff would come home, and I'd tell Dad, I'd be like, "This is clicking that wasn't clicking before." And I would sit there on the mound at home, and I'd be like, "Why is this not? I don't understand why this is going this way. This pitch ain't doing what I want." And finally, everything just started clicking, and I realized that's just coming from someone that can see a different version of me. And then I was like, prospect prep's got to be something. Can I imagine 3 days a week instead of just the one weekly visit that I have? And we were just like, it's a great opportunity to get there and see you guys 3 days a week to help me find those things that I needed to get to click.
A message to to Derek and Sarah Wicker here. Thank you for trusting your son with us for the summer. He's eating dinner in our house a couple nights a week. My son Cooper calls him Chicken Wicker because he thinks it's hilarious. He's become like a little brother, and I don't know that I've seen someone trust us and what we're doing more than what's going on. So that's why it had to be Tristan joining on here talking about prospect prep this morning. Man, your summer, I know it's busy. I know it's a lot. You are building a man right now, and I promise that.
Yeah, and the thing about Tristan that he's leaving off, we have multiple groups for prospect prep. So we have an early group, starts at 9, a 10:30 group, and we have a noon group, and Tristan's in the 10:30 group. So he normally rolls in at the start of the first group and sometimes leaves after us. So he is there almost all day long. He's helping us. He's being around the culture, and he's really trying to learn every possible thing that he can. So he is an example of a kiddo that we believe gets it and is going to get it as he moves forward. So Hudson, you're in now. You're an outfielder. You're a position guy. You're on the other end of the spectrum, if you will. Tristan's our pitching guy. So what has prospect prep helped you understand about what college coaches are actually looking for in a position guy?
It's really made me realize the right metrics that different coaches look for, and not only that, but the type of character and person that you are. And I think you guys do a great job of building our character and our person, not just through baseball, but through other aspects, just building a relationship with each person that comes through. And, it's also helped me understand that if you're trying to beat another guy out of position, you got to be able to swing it. And you got to be able to do your job, keep your head down, just grind it out, and you just got to 110% with everything.
Hitting is so hard. As the pitching guy who sometimes is staring down the barrel, and it's a unique thing that we have because we're helping you guys in recruiting, but I'm the pitching guy, and I'm back there in their ear telling them what to throw to get you out. I don't know what to call right now, by the way, when Hudson's in the box. He's a super humble guy, and he's not going to feed into anything I'm saying right there, but I don't know what pitches this guy can't hit hard to left center, and he's a left-handed bat. So when that left-handed bat can hit the ball hard to left center and stay on the off-speed stuff for a long time, it changes everything. So, man, I am glad that we met you. You weren't a guy that we worked with before prospect prep. So as we're building the field for this, we're searching for local talent that we think can play, meets the standards of what we're after, and that we can send directly to college coaches and know that they will be the right type of player. We're evaluating a lot of people in the area, and Hunter's building the hitting side. I'm building the pitching side. And Hunter sent me a text and was like, Garten is in, with a bunch of exclamation points. And I was like, sweet. And gave no more thought to it. And meet this guy. And by week 2, I'm like, where have you been? Like, I love this guy. He sounds like he's 37 and has a half paid off mortgage. He is so mature, just been a really, really positive addition to everything that we're doing. And it's not just Hudson. We got a whole group of these Silver Creek guys coming down from Southern Indiana. And to somebody listening in Southern Indiana, the drive ain't that bad. I promise.
And the cool thing about Hudson, as we have him on here, he's super humble, which is a wonderful trait and something that will serve him well in life, of course. But Hudson is an example of a guy that does not have a big footprint in other recruiting services. We'll say it like that. I don't know how many tweets he has on X, maybe a handful, mostly retweets from this summer. He's a kid that was super talented, and I'm not so sure he knew how good he was. And then, I saw the swing at some point, and we have the connection there with Coach Roberts at Silver Creek, and he had said, yes, this guy can really play. And seeing the swing, if you know ball and you know hitting, you know that swing can play. So it's been such a joy to have Hudson. I don't think he knows how good he is yet. He was actually just like, I like pitching. He said that a few times. Like, I can pitch, I guess, if you need me to. And then it turns out that he was throwing a fastball with so much cut, it was actually registering as a slider at 87 miles an hour the other day. So this is just an example of a guy that we didn't know 6 months ago, but is now with us. And Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, he will be, committed to play college baseball in the next few months. And he had no major footprint on any recruiting service. His his inbox wasn't filled with interest from college coaches. But he is now understanding, as he said, what it takes and what they're looking for. And we're trying to remind Hudson, they're looking for guys like you. So, Jimmy, this one's coming to you. And this is important because it's actually really cool to see this play out. Take us behind the scenes a little bit. When we started building Prospect Prep, this is year 2. So we started building it in, I guess, February, March of 2025. What was the overall vision, and what problem were we trying to solve for players and their families?
Man, just as we shared with kind of the origins of us firing up K-Zone, this was one of those things where you're praying about business growth. You're thinking, how can you help guys in baseball? And it was really like, this hit so hard as an idea with me that I know I didn't generate it. This was provided, right? So the idea was, it's K-Zone baseball development. I'm by myself at the time. I've got it written on a whiteboard, like, how do I make it more than me? That was the focus of 2025, and I'm praying on that, but it had to be the right thing, right? So I don't want to grow this in the wrong way. I don't want this to be one of those things where it's like, all right, we got 43 people that train for K-Zone, and you just like, the facility will train you. That's not a real thing. Facilities don't train guys. People train guys. So I needed the right people. So I've shared it before, but I'm starting to think about, like, how do I make it more than me? It's K-Zone baseball development, not K-Zone pitching development. I need somebody that really knows baseball, but also cares about guys at the highest level being a really good person while also chasing a dream. And as we were getting more in depth with baseball, I'm by myself, and I'm starting to hear that maybe this game hasn't figured itself out as well as I assumed it had. I finished up playing in 2018, and you kind of assume with advancements in social media and technology that maybe everybody's kind of figuring it out. And I realized, like, no, they're further from having it figured out, significantly further from having it figured out as far as what do we do with our kids that are chasing this dream. And I'm hearing people that are 13 and 14 years old talking about, like, what bat they're going to buy that's going to get them to 100 miles an hour exit velocity and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, these people are actually lost. Like, we have to find something that's going to really actually not only train them, but inform them so they know what they're doing, and also help families. And out of nowhere, it kind of hits me that, hey, there's a guy like 2 miles away that I've known through the years, played against him, taught with him for a minute, and he's a pastor, and he played pro ball, and he's a hitter. He also does catching. I do pitching. Hey, this could make some sense. So we've shared the phone call before. Hunter's talking to me about how he might be able to get back in the baseball game to provide for his family and train some guys. And this idea really hits me. What's the most impact we could have on a guy? Not training 200 players, but training a smaller group of them extremely well. And then that's when I started kind of texting Hunter, like, hey, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, do you think this will work around summer ball schedules? What if we had 3 different groups of guys and we were able to kind of develop some curriculum to inform them on what they're actually chasing and get them in here and do some of the strength and conditioning side as well? And then we'll go live at bats on Wednesdays. That way they can lay down real college film, And at the time it was like, hey, we'll get all this film and we'll hand it to the guys and they can email it to every coach and it'll be great from there. And we learned a ton in the summer of 2025 that we would have been wrong on. Okay. Very wrong on. And we're the first to tell you that. We didn't know anything about the current state of recruiting when we started this in 2025. And we learned enough about it over the summer of 2025 that we started thinking like, hey, we might be able to just directly support people in recruiting. So we launched that in August, and man, God is good. I think we're sitting on 23 in this 26 class that are going away from mama in August. And in the spring of 2025, we had like one varsity athlete, and Hunter had a couple. He had been training there for a while, and we ended up growing and getting more sustainable and getting more systemized with what we're doing. And every guy that did prospect prep in the summer of 2025 received multiple offers to play college baseball. We've got a guy going to Division I ranks there. We've got a top end JUCO guy, D3 guy. We've got different levels there, and we learned so much. And then this past year with the recruiting service, we built. Hunter is like an endless wealth of knowledge on college coaches, man. I was talking back and forth with one of our prospect prep parents yesterday, and they named a school, and I was like, yeah, I played against that school. I'll see if Hunter knows anybody. And he's like, yeah, I texted their head coach yesterday. So I don't know how he does it, but he takes the lead on all that, and it's been tremendous. This summer, it's kind of the new improved. To my prospect prep guys from 2025, great experience. I hope we impacted you.
We're sorry.
We're a little bit sorry. Like it's a lot better than it was before, and that's how it goes, right? So these guys that are with us in the prospect prep series in 2026, man, when you roll back in 2032, it might be 68 degrees in there. It might be nice and pretty, and you'll remember when your sweatband wasn't working anymore because you sweat through it. Just get over it. You'll be fine. But this summer, it's exclusively juniors and seniors that are all ready to either do the work to get ready for their recruiting cycle for next summer. We've got some 2028s in there that aren't going to be fall offer guys that understand that, and they're being told that directly, and they're doing the work, and they're surrounded by the guys that are doing the thing that they're going to do next summer. And then we've got 2027s that are laying down multiple offers a week right now. And the biggest thing that I think we offer, because I think some people hear Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the summer, and they look at their calendar and they're on a national travel ball team, and they're like, man, I'm going to miss half of that. It's okay. It's okay. So included in Prospect Prep 2026 now is our full recruiting service. So basically that includes, we take the keys we take responsibility. Like we want to be texted when that coach reaches out and you don't know how to respond. We want to tell you, hey, that school that just invited you to their camp, we talked to their head coach. They're not going to bring in any high school guys. So you'll just be burning a Saturday and $150 to go down there. And they might remember you when you're coming out of your JUCO in a couple of years. And they may even tell you that. So we now are directly working with guys on, this one makes sense for you. This doesn't make sense for you, but that coach is really awesome. You need to make sure that he really enjoys you and he likes you, because he's going to climb and he might be at this spot in 2 years, and you need to schedule this phone call. I know you think you're too good for the school, but you got to schedule this phone call, because that coach has a lot of respect for us and what we're doing here, and I don't want anybody to think that you're too big time for anybody. So we've got 4.5 hours a week in person. So Tristan's group is at 10:30, from 10:30 to 12. He's with us Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We're lives on Wednesday. My pitchers throw 25. We get video on all that. We're charting everything. We got the Rapsodo rolling on Monday. We'll break down the outing from the iPad. I'm excited because we had, I believe, 11 of our 12 guys at lives this past week. So everybody's going to have an iPad in their hand, breaking it all down. And then we're going to go to work on, okay, what did you see? And sometimes that's, what did you see that was working well? And let's go reinforce that. Other times, maybe that glove side's coming out of there early. Okay, here's the work that we're going to go do here, and we've got to lift for 25 minutes on the back end. So the physicality is pushed. The understanding of what you're actually chasing is at the forefront. And then when it's time to compete, we're competing with dogs in there. So we've got some of the best hitters we can find going up against some of the best pitchers we could find every day. And when we go live on Wednesday, that might be that guy's 16th at bat against you on the summer. So when you spin that slider, Tristan, it's going to need to be 29 plus, because if it floats in there at 25, like that might be that guy's home run clip that gets him signed. So it's really been awesome. It's driving itself at this point. The guys are at the forefront of it. That's everything we're trying to do. When we did it in 2025, Hunter and I were really just trying to prove to people that we could coach them and make them better. We're not really doing much of that anymore. We're showcasing the guys, we're putting it out there, and we're making sure that you all land somewhere where we trust that you're going to continue to be developed.
So when Jimmy texted me about this in 2025, before the high school season even started, I thought I was literally signing up just for a high school job. I'm sorry, not a high school job, a summer job. And I thought that because I said, well, this is a little extra income for my family. This is achieving everything I need, etc. And then what started happening over that summer, and then now it's even amplified, is this thing actually started changing people's trajectory and changing people's life by the grace of God. So when I think about what we do and what these guys are actually, the information they're getting, it is now truly geared towards these guys being the very best men possible post-college. Yes, we're hopefully going to help them find the place that they're going to play college baseball and helping them through that. But we're actually extremely interested in Hudson and Tristan and Noah and Mason and all these guys that are with us. We're interested in them not being in crippling debt. We're interested in them not making really bad decisions. And Jimmy spoke about it early on when he answered this question. We found out, mostly because we too were in the same boat, most high school parents and players have little idea what's going on in the recruiting realm. They have little idea what needs to be done. I was so humbled, Jimmy, because I was going to help with recruiting last summer. So I sat down with my laptop one night on my couch and I emailed every school within 5 hours that I could possibly find and told them about our players. And I received 3 responses. That was what I thought about recruiting, because 15 years ago, that's what I did, and people responded then. And I now know that's a dead service, if you will. Like the email's not going to work. These guys are getting actual information that they need, how to navigate recruiting, where they should take their time and energy, what level they should be looking for. We're talking about dream school effort and telling them it's probably not going to start at Arkansas. It's probably going to start at, we keep saying, Southwest Cornfield State. It's probably where it's going to begin, and you got to be ready for those things. So this prospect prep thing has really, the old saying, you love it when a plan comes together. I can't even say it was a plan. This has been a happy accident on our end and just a blessing from the Lord. So I want to give it back to Jimmy here.
And I jumped in there, man, but like you're talking about how we can only plan so much of it. Can we bring up, because throughout the course of this podcast, as we share the story of K-Zone, there's just so many things. I've been getting emotional this summer. I don't know what's going on, but it almost made me want to cry when Tristan, who legitimately is about 2.5 hours away now with where they're building this new house on the lake, 2.5 hours away, his aunt lives 5 minutes from the facility. Like, his aunt has a place for him to stay that's closer than I live, that's closer than Hunter lives. That is God. Like, I want to say very clearly, that is God. And we actually connected with Tristan because some of our guys that were in Prospect Prep 25 were playing on a team, and I saw a post, and I was like, kid spins sliders. I like sliders. I was a slider guy. Hey, I need a pitcher for Wednesday. Can somebody shoot me that kid's number? And then he came in and he spun the first one, and it was like 2,879 miles an hour. And I looked at Hunter and I was like, objective 1 on the day. Like, that kid does not leave without working with me. And I had to hound him for the whole fall, but I borderline wore you out there. But I'm glad you started making that drive. And we're super humbled at everything that is organizing itself right now within this process.
Tristan, since we started working together, how has your view of the recruiting process changed? A lot of players think recruiting is just throwing hard and posting highlight videos from Game Changer. By the way, Game Changer video isn't helpful. What have you learned that you didn't understand before?
It takes time. That's pretty much. You're setting up phone calls 24/7, making sure you inform every coach when the start is, The camp you need to go to, you got to make sure you're available to be there. It's just definitely taking time. And another point is properly talking to them. Before you guys, I would have probably destroyed many of things because the school texts you, look it up. Oh, it's a Division III. I'm better than that. No, it's build the relationship, and I've realized that now. And I would have had no idea how to build a relationship. I would have killed every relationship. And now that I can actually just talk to them and keep it going and build a relationship and help find the right fit for me. And they are not just looking for the guy that throws hard. If a coach comes to watch you, he knows you can play. I've learned that. They want to see, they know you can succeed. They want to see how you handle your success, and they can handle your failure. There's no just because you throw hard, you're going to go play somewhere. Like, if you can't fail, it's not going to happen. I've learned that being mentally tough, it goes way farther than just being able to throw the ball really hard and throw where you want it. Because they're just not looking for the guy that just throws hard and punches walls when he gets in the dugout.
There's a lot of those guys. Yeah. Teaching you how to pitch and how to think like a pitcher has been awesome for the last year. We've talked velocity specific work for about 6 weeks of our time together, and you know, this next year will be our first full school year working together, and we'll talk a lot more velo than we have in the past. We're just prepping you for college right now, and it's been so awesome to watch you grow. I remember the first phone call that we had, you and Derek, and I was like, "What are you looking for?" And it was like D1. Like, that's what it was. I've got my mind shut to these couple things, and I think now you understand there's a lot of really good baseball out there. And I'm not going to say any schools directly because you could be committed when this posts. We never know. And you're headed down to the senior future games here in a couple weeks, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that like what they see there. But I want to be clear. This is a super competitive kid that really gets it. When we teach the it factor to our pitchers, those guys that just kind of have that dominant edge, he's got it. He's a guy that I have to tell to leave the facility. And I know people say that. I've actually never seen this. Like, he's staying away from his family. I usually get to the facility at about 7:45 in the summer, and I leave at about 4. He may leave for lunch, but he's there. And it's actually 95 degrees in there most days. And, you know, we were texting back and forth. He was going to help me out with something, and he was fishing at like 6:15 in the morning. This is actually a grown man in a high schooler's body, and your maturation over the last couple of years, or over the last few months even, has been so cool to see. And whenever you hang those cleats up, you shoot me a text. We're going to get right to work. We're going to get you some more K-Zone gear, and we're going to set you up in a lane right next to me. And I'm super glad that we were able to connect in this process.
It's been really cool to see Tristan, and he's kind of one of the main guys in this too. Tristan there's a lot to like about what you see. Obviously, he spins a breaking ball better than most humans, so that's very, very intriguing. But he said something huge that all these guys are getting. Hudson's getting his advice. Burnsy's getting his advice. Gage is getting his advice. Everyone that we're training in Prospect Prep's getting his advice, and he said it. He said, you got to be patient. Many people, they see their buddies, other 27s, they're already committed. And you got to be patient because the recruiting window has shifted backwards, and even more so. We understand the portal is going to be their first interest, then followed likely by junior college, then followed by the high school guys. So we sat all these guys down week 1, and we said, hey, you're probably, we love you, but you're probably the least important player to the college coach right now. We just want you to know that. It's going to take some time. And then he said something else that's huge. And Tristan, I would have made the same mistake too. Hudson, I would have made the same mistake too. I wanted to play Division I baseball. And out of my 4 options coming out of high school, where did I commit to? The place where I could play right away? No, the one that was ranked the highest, who was beating UK and Louisville in the midweeks at the time. That's where I went. My eyes were set on the biggest possible thing. So what we're trying to train these guys, and Tristan now gets this, and he's exemplifying it right now, is every single coach contact is important. Every single visit is important. Every single conversation matters. I would say Tristan's probably fielded at least enough text communication right now to probably say when he gets a text message, hey, this school isn't a priority for me. But thankfully, he has been trained and he's executing it well. That NAI coach that you don't want to take a phone call from because you can't imagine yourself playing that level of baseball, yeah, he could be at your dream school in 6 months. And he's going to remember that you big leagued him. Also, I always say this, and this is why I get so pumped and, as Jimmy said, almost choked up. Until you have one option of actually playing college baseball, you have a death date, and Jimmy talks about this. You have a death date on your baseball career, and it's when you play your last high school game. So once again, that Division III coach or that Division II coach or that JUCO 6 hours away that you've never heard of before, you may think you're good or too good for these schools, but until you have that PDF, which is an offer, and that promise that you can play on their baseball team, you have a death date. So we're trying to encourage guys, and Tristan's doing an awesome job. He's not closing any avenues of recruitment because who knows, maybe he does go one certain route. He could need that relationship in 2 years, as well could Hudson, as well could all of these guys, and we're hopefully training them the right way that these guys think enough of you to take time away from their families and their busy schedules to contact you. You respectfully take all contact, take as many visits as possible, and you try to find what's best for you right now, because what's best for you and right now could be different from 2 years from now, and that contact you might very much need to keep your baseball career moving forward. So, Hudson, let's get you one here. Hudson, recruiting can create a lot of pressure in comparison, and I've already mentioned it. One of the things I think high school guys struggle the most with is they see the guy on X, that video that's blowing up because they hit some really awesome metrics, and you hear that they're talking with this school or that school. So that's very, very real. And as a former high school ball player that just wanted to play baseball and play Division I baseball, I felt that same pressure and that same comparison. So how has being around serious players in prospect prep helped you with your mindset and your confidence as you approach this recruiting process?
It's really helped my mindset by being around these other guys that I know want to be at the next level. And it's kind of like we talked about earlier, every dude in there wants you to win. They want to see you be better than you were the day before. And it's also really helped knowing that there's a lot of good competition in there. And it helps me feel more prepared for what's ahead of me and what's coming up. And being around all these guys, I can trust the guy behind me, I can trust the guy in front of me, and the guy next to me. I know that they're all going to back me up, and I'm going to back them up the same way. And not just the hitters, but the pitchers too. Like, we'll be doing lives, and you'll go back in the dugout after a pitcher just threw, and the guy that just hit off of him is like, hey, man, you're throwing that curveball good today. Like, you look good, hitting the zone. And all that too kind of plays in with confidence. When guys are uplifting you like that and letting you know what you're doing well, then it really helps kind of give you a little boost, maybe if you're in a slump or you are kind of in a hitch with something. But no, being around all these guys that I know want to be at the next level really helps because I can just trust all of them with everything.
The high school player has so many different ways to compare themselves than they used to. When I was coming up, I actually thought I was probably the baddest dude around because I didn't have all the resources to see everything. You guys get on social media and you see the 6'6", 250-pound guy that runs a 6'5" and hits the ball 420 feet. You're not competing with that guy. He's probably going 4th overall to the White Sox. Tristan, you threw at the same complex at the same time as Striker Pence the other day, who was throwing 100 at like 10 years old. So it's really easy to compare yourself all the time. But the main thing that we want to make clear to you guys, especially in this modern version of college baseball, and I know we talk about it a lot, but I want to say it publicly, you're living your own journey. Like, you're the only person that's going to see everything you do in your whole baseball career. So these guys pulling for each other and trying to help each other out, you're not competing really against each other. Like in prospect prep, when that pitcher's on the mound, he's trying to lay down something that helps him in his own journey. You're just the guy that was in the box at the time. It's not about let me show you up in any way. We haven't seen any moments like that, really, in the 2 years we've done it. And then you guys benefit each other because it's like, like you're talking about, hey, that backdoor curveball, man, that just got me there. I was thinking fastball, and if you can locate that thing on the arm side of the plate, like that's got to be cool. Those are real conversations that we hear teenagers having with each other that I do not see. I watch a lot of high school baseball in the spring. We load up the stroller and we get the tripod out there, and I got Blake and Cooper running around the ballpark all the time. Most of what I see in high school baseball is me, and really no conversation to anybody else about what's going on. And if we're talking to the other side in any way, we're probably covering our kids' ears and things like that. And these guys are actually in here really giving each other serious feedback, because that might be your 15th at bat against Brady Haddle on the summer. And you guys might end up SEC teammates in 3 years, because I wouldn't scoff at either one of you playing at that level. So we try to tell these guys, like, hey, these guys you're in here with, you're probably not going to play against them in the high school season because you guys live 2 hours apart. But that could be your roommate in 2 years at a college, because we actually still have all the same connections for him that we do for you. And if that coach really likes you, there's a good chance he really likes him, and that might end up your roommate and the best man in your wedding. So why would we chirp him on a Wednesday in June? Why don't we try to build that guy up, help him be successful? Because, by the way, half the time our guys are committing in prospect prep to coaches that found another guy's video and then took a liking to what we were doing, and now you have an offer. So you should want that guy to be successful next to you. You should want his clip to blow up more than yours. Don't retweet it. That's a different thing. Free tip there, recruiting wise. Keep your ex just you playing baseball, not your buddy, because if he's better than you, they'll click on him and message him, not you. But you should want those guys around you to have success, because it only benefits you.
The high school baseball player here is living in their own mind, and I can recall, as can Jimmy, I'm sure, you are the guy for your high school team. And then when you step on that college campus and you're around other guys, it takes some time for you to go, I actually belong here. So one of the things we see in prospect prep is we think a lot of our arms are really good. And then they'll step in and face a lot of our bats, and they'll get hit. Or that slider that normally makes everyone look dumb, they take for easy ball too. So a really cool environment is Hudson, hopefully, and Boston, and Gavin, and all these guys, and Belu, they all hopefully understand by this summer alone that they can hang. And they wouldn't be in this prospect prep if they can't hang. They can hang, and they can hang with the best. That was something I had this realization probably midway through my freshman year in college, where it was like, that guy's really good, and I just hit a double. I can actually do this. I can actually play here. So we want them to get over that as quick as possible. And hopefully, if anything, they leave this going, I can actually hang with these guys. Jimmy.
Yeah, and if you're somebody out there listening to this that is taking an interest in what we're talking about with prospect prep, understand this is something we do in June and July. Okay, so when guys have really nothing else going on besides baseball, and we truly try to transform a career in 8 weeks. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, hour and a half a day for 8 weeks. We include the recruiting service with that as well. But Hunter, if there's somebody out there listening and they're just clicking with everything we're talking about, like, hey, I don't want my son to be the guy riding his bat like a unicorn down the first base line and yelling into the other dugout. We don't really understand what's going on in recruiting. We thought August 1st meant he was going to get all these coaches fighting over him, and it's July of the next year, and nobody's talking to him. Speak to a 2027 family out there, or maybe an elite 2028 family out there that wants the support with recruiting, but they missed prospect prep 2026.
Yeah, so the coolest thing we do, we've referenced it a number of times, is we actually try to make an impact on the recruiting service and the recruiting side of that. So we have a recruiting service, and you go, here we go, another pitch for a recruiting service. So we have been told this, and we understand this, and it is intentional. There is a financial component to it, but it is extremely low. It's extremely low for a reason. Jimmy and I, we make very little profit off the actual recruiting service. We are actually invested in ensuring, once again, you don't take on crippling debt. You don't go somewhere 5 hours away to be the 34th guy on the roster and in the portal in 3 months. And we try to help you make a lot of good decisions and not a lot of bad decisions. So our recruiting service, if you can make it to us for a one-time film session where we can film you, we can get the metrics, we can do that. We believe we can actually help you land at a place that's a good fit for you. Now, we can't promise anything, of course. That's illegal, and we aren't God, and we can't do those things. We can't promise anything, but you are about to embark into something you know nothing about. And we had a college coach on here, Coach Reinstedt at Toledo, one of our last episodes, and he said that. He said, it's a game. This recruiting thing is a game, and unfortunately, most families don't know what's going on. So we want to play that middleman, and we want to be a help to the families. We want to be a help to the player. We want to give you information that it just isn't going to come by osmosis. You don't know. We want to make this very stressful time for the ball player that wants to play college ball as easy as possible. So an Elite 2027, or really any 2027, it's starting now. And I'm not sure when this podcast will release, but it's after your junior year. It's about to heat up. It's about to start, and if you're not doing something now, you could get missed. You could certainly get missed. For the Elite 2028, it's about to really start. For the Elite 2028, you got some time if you're not getting August 1 phone calls. But we want to help, and we want to bridge the gap, and we want to see some families and some players spared for some generational debt and some bad decisions on that aspect. So, final question here, Jimmy. Give it to these guys.
One thing we talk about often is that development isn't always flashy. Sometimes the biggest jumps come from discipline, routine, recovery, nutrition, and just doing hard things consistently. What are 2 habits you've developed through prospect prep that are making you better players? Tristan, we'll go with you first.
Every rep, 100%. That's one of them. And I mean, not currently having to, but the weight gain side, that was a must when I was doing it. It's not as hard. Like you all said, most of the times it's not that hard to do. You just got to run to do it.
Yeah, the every rep 100%. We've said dream school effort several times, and I'll give the 10-second breakdown of what we mean by dream school effort. So you're chasing a dream from your high school. Not many people, if any, are around you chasing a dream. You're going to go to a college that wasn't the one you dreamed about when you were 10, and you're going to be chasing the dream from there. And in the current version of college baseball, whether you go junior college or not, whatever school you're at doesn't mean it's over. You can actually chase professional baseball from any college. There's 2 groups of dudes. There's guys that it's done in high school, and then there's college baseball players. It used to be all these different sections of college baseball players. Now they're really all just one thing. You can all end up wherever. So when we talk about 100% on every rep, dream school effort, if your dream school is North Carolina, not to tip the cards, Tristan, but that's his dream school. When you're in Breckenridge County by yourself in the weight room, I want you to imagine if you look down and you were wearing all light blue with the Nike Metcons on the feet, white and light blue, and you got LED lights up on the wall, and Michael Jordan himself spoke at your first pitch dinner, what would that next half hour in the weight room look like? And if it don't look like that in a weight room with dim lighting and maybe underfunded with no strength coach, you will never see that dream school. And that is the reality. And we hammer that. I think I spoke on it for 45 total minutes this week. We hammer that. Because whatever you do in the swing session with Hunter won't matter. Whatever you do in your bullpen with me where the back hip clicks, it will not matter if you don't go out and lay down years of work. Tristan talked to it earlier. Like there can't just be a moment that you have that, oh, now I'm committed and everything's great. It is just a body of work. It's a development process. And we are trying to build people that we know when they leave mama in August after senior prom, that they're going to go off and we can trust them, that they're going to be consistent. They're going to actually act like men. They're going to be trustworthy. They're going to show up on time. They're going to make those 5 a.m. waits. They're actually going to be waiting on the coach in there asking if he needs caffeine. We're trying to produce those types of young men.
Hudson, What are 2 habits that you've developed through prospect prep that are making you a better player right now?
Kind of similar to what Tristan just said, kind of having a lot of intent in everything that you're doing, and also really thinking about what I'm putting into my body, what I'm fueling my body with, and not only being able to play like a college athlete, but look like one and feel like one.
Yeah, we have spent a considerable amount of time talking this summer. And one thing I battled with as a coach, as I'm sure Jimmy does as well, is, these guys are here. We got to get them moving. There can't be any standing still. There can't be any times in which we're not sweating. But these guys have both spoken to something that we've been super intentional about. It's just giving them information. And he talked about a big one there. We actually sat the guys down this past week when Dream School Effort was our theme, and we asked them, we said, go to the website of your dream school. And we had a paper filled out, and we said, get this to us tomorrow and look at the difference. Give me the height difference. Give me the weight difference. Give me the difference between them and you physically. That was one of the questions. And just about everybody brought back valuable information. We asked them, what's the difference between Stanford's roster and you? What's the difference between Kentucky's roster and you? Wake Forest roster and you? And all of them said they weigh about 30 more pounds than me, and they're all taller than me. So what we were able to do, and the same thing we on the paper, said, what can you not control about that? No one can actually control how tall they are. But we talked through the nutrition aspect of it. Jimmy and I were both guys that at one time, we weighed less than we did when we played in college baseball. So we were able to have that very real conversation that nutrition, weight gain, maintaining that weight, it's actually not that difficult. And I know there's a lot of skinnier guys out there that go, I just can't put on weight. We broke it down for them. And Jimmy made it very simple. 500 extra calories a day for a number of months, that should get you to this weight. That's 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. That's 2 extra protein bars. That's an extra this. That's an extra that. And what we talked to them about was this. For the nutrition aspect, you probably won't do it. And we kind of challenged them, a little reverse psychology. You probably won't do it because it takes time, it takes energy, it takes effort, it takes the hard thing. So hopefully these athletes are at least walking away, what Hudson said, with an understanding of the nutrition. Then when you get to college ball, say you've put on the 25 pounds, you are going to enter one of the most vigorous and one of the most jam-packed schedules you have ever encountered. And then the work's going to really begin. You got to keep that weight on when you're on the field for 3.5 hours with a 2-hour weight session, study hall, and extra work as well. So super, super helpful. Jimmy?
So we're at the point in the time of the episode where I usually ask the question, what advice would you give to a family or a player, middle school age or early high school? But this episode, my middle school families, my early high school families, I need you to know, a few things to take away here. At the upper end of high school baseball, this is what's going on. Okay, this is what we're doing with these guys. This is what we talk about with them. Here's what they don't know. Here's what we're teaching them. Here's what they're working on. You guys, if you want to join the dugout, you get a $200 discount on prospect prep in the future. You'll get videos. You'll hear everything about our guys in prospect prep. But this episode specifically is a little bit more geared towards, hey, about to be college ready players and families. If you are actually receiving an offer from us to participate in the prospect prep series, here's what it is. Here's what that means for you. Here's what we're trying to do. And here's what the guys say about it. So Tristan first, then Hudson. What advice would you give to a player and their family who are maybe on the fence, they've received a prospect prep offer, and they're considering it? What advice would you give to them?
Definitely take it. It's not only developing you as a player, but it's developing you as a human being. I feel like I get the baseball work that I need, but I feel like there's also a little more of developing who I'm going to be when baseball's over with, because I can't play this game for forever, and most people can't. But so there's going to be a life later that I need to know how to do. And that's also with prospect prep has developed me to know how to do that life and be a better person when that time comes. But development side of it, the baseball side, it's definitely heavy there too. I get the work I need, and it's just amazing culture to be around, and every guy's working hard all the time.
Yeah, I would definitely say take the chance. If you have any aspirations to play higher level baseball, take the chance. And, I feel like a lot of parents also don't see the inside of what a lesson or a facility looks like. And, it's really a lot deeper than baseball or just going in, doing your hitting work or your pitching work and getting out and leaving, going back home. You build a brotherhood and a bond and a relationship with everybody in there. And all these guys are going to take you farther in life, and not just with baseball advice, but they're going to give you life advice and help you out whenever you need it.
Well, that makes me happy. That makes me happy. This has been wonderful. Tristan joining us from his home there in Breckenridge County. Hudson's in person with us today. One guy we knew before Prospect Prep, one guy that had never met us before. He showed up day one, and Lord willing, they're having awesome experiences, and we've loved them both. College coaches, if you're listening, we will vouch for both these human beings. These are the two guys that you need in your locker room. These examples of two guys that you need in your locker room on both sides of the ball, and we will put our name and reputation on that. So thank you guys so much for being with us today. We hope this has been helpful for families, for players at home, and kind of give a better idea of what we're doing in Prospect Prep, what we're doing at K-Zone. So, Jim, anything else?
Man, if you're a family hearing this and you're far away, Hudson, how far is your drive right now?
To the facility?
Yep.
An hour.
And Tristan is living, and we shared earlier, his aunt happened to be by the facility. We were prepared to find him a host family. So if you are 2 hours away, 3 hours away, don't rule it out. We've got avenues to figure this thing out. If you're getting the opportunity, we humbly very much believe in what we're offering here, and we know that we've benefited these guys. So I'm going to pass it back to Hunter here, but if you're a family, please don't rule this out because of a little bit of distance, because we feel that there is nothing similar going on regionally, and we really know that we can have an impact on the person as well as the player.
This has been great. Thank you guys again so much for your time. Hey, until next time, this is K-Zone Baseball Development Podcast. Remember that Christ is King, baseball is just a game, and work works.